Hey everybody, David here, and today I am doing my superhero TV podcast where I will be talking about all the superhero TV shows that I watch, which include today's shows are Arrow, The Flash, Legends, Supergirl, and Black Lightning. Unfortunately, there's no Marvel TV shows right now, or any other superhero TV shows for that matter. Marvel shows that I watch are all the Netflix stuff and Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., of course. I do not watch Runaways. I do not watch, what's the other one? Cloak and Dagger. Even though I heard good things about it, I should get into it, but I haven't yet. Hopefully one day I will, and then I'll be talking about those ones as well. There's so much superhero TV to cover, though, that these are the ones that I'll definitely be doing for sure. The DC TV shows and the Netflix shows from Marvel. Last week I talked about Daredevil, which was amazing. If you haven't seen it yet, please go see Daredevil Season 3. For some reason, the show's not getting enough viewership, which disappoints me. If we don't get a Season 4 of Daredevil, I will cancel my Netflix subscription. I don't care. I'm really looking forward to the Disney streaming service because they have a lot of content that I'm really excited about. Not only for Star Wars, but if you're a huge Marvel fan, the MCU is going to be taking over the Disney streaming service with a Loki series, a Scarlet Witch series, and now this week they announced a Falcon and Winter Soldier series, both of them together, which is going to be amazing. Sebastian Stan and Anthony Mackie are going to come back for this show. I am looking forward to it. So everything I'm hearing about this Disney streaming service is like, take my money, Disney. Take my money, give it to me all. With that being said, let's begin with this week's TV shows from superhero television. And I want to get into Black Lightning Season 2, Episode 3, The Book of Consequences, Chapter 3, Master Lowry. Yes, so the description on IMDb says Jefferson cleans out his desk after the board retires him as principal. Meanwhile, Anissa goes looking for money to keep Holtick's clinic from going insolvent. I don't know if that's... Anyways, Lynn gets a new co-worker, and Jennifer meets a woman with a unique gift. Once again, Black Lightning. I like Black Lightning. It's not my favorite show right now. It wasn't my favorite show last season, but I think I liked it more than Flash and Supergirl last season. This season right now, currently, 3 episodes in? I'm 3 episodes in. I know it's 4 episodes on cable, but I watched the show on Netflix because I don't have cable anymore. I cut my cable, so I can only see the show on Netflix. I'll always be a week behind, unfortunately. But I like the episode. I've been liking the episode so far this season. But it's not the kind of show that gets me excited for the next episode, right? There's not any of those big episodes. There's no mystery behind the show, I feel, anyways, that gets me excited week after week and gets me super excited for every episode that happens. At the end of each episode, I'm just satisfied from what I've seen, and I'm ready to move on to the next episode. I don't know if it has to do with the mystery aspect, like there's no mystery on Black Lightning, where the other DC TV shows has a lot of that. They always have you wondering, okay, who's this guy? What's he up to? What's his plan? What's his motivation? There's maybe a little bit of that here. You're curious at some things that are going on, but not to the extent that the other DC TV shows are at. Obviously, this show wants to keep itself separate from the Arrowverse, and that's fine. It works for it. And, every show doesn't need to have the same gimmicks, which a lot of the Arrowverse has. There's a lot of similarities with all those shows. Black Lightning doesn't need that. And if it doesn't want to have that, it doesn't need to. But for that, I can't say, I wonder what's going to happen with Anissa next week, or with Jefferson next week. I think the only thing I'm curious about right now is the whole Khalil storyline, where he's with Tobias, obviously. And I do have a feeling he's going to flip sides eventually, because Tobias Whale ain't treating him right. And eventually you're going to have that character, Khalil, get fed up with what's going on his end and maybe join Black Lightning and his team to team up against Tobias Whale. I think so. We'll see. But for now, it was a fine episode of Black Lightning. I'm not disappointed with this season. It's just not the season that's getting me super pumped right now for the rest of the season. It's just, as each episode comes, I'm enjoying it. Next, let's move on to Supergirl, Season 4, Episode 3, Man of Steel. The IMDb description says, the story of how Ben Lockwood became Agent Liberty is told. Ben Lockwood is played by Sam Witwer. If you're a Superman fan from movies and television shows from the past, you know who Sam Witwer is. He is the guy who played the human side of Doomsday from Smallville. So that's where I first recognized him. He's also known to Star Wars fans. He was in the Star Wars video game. I forgot which game right now, Shadows of the Empire or something. I don't know if it's that game, but anyways, he's also the voice of Darth Maul on both Star Wars Clone Wars and Rebels. He was also Darth Maul in the latest Solo movie. Spoiler alert, Darth Maul has a cameo. Sam Witwer did the voice with Ray Park returning to play that role. So Sam Witwer being on this show, I was really excited about it, and I think I'm liking this character so much more than his role on Smallville. I loved Smallville, but that 8th season of the show was hard to get through. It was the worst season, in my opinion, of Smallville. And unfortunately, Sam Witwer's character wasn't that interesting. I didn't like that they gave Doomsday a human side. I don't blame Sam Witwer. I think acting-wise, he did a good job. I just feel the overall execution of that character was a total bust. This character, however, I'm much more interested in, and you can see Sam Witwer is probably a lot more interested and invested in. Obviously, there's a political angle with this character. The show Supergirl has never shied away from being political. They've been pretty loud last season, and they're being pretty loud this season. Thankfully for me, if I was an American, I would be on the left side, because I agree with those morals, those values. What worries me is that there's people watching this that are on the right side, and they're feeling not represented enough. Because let's face it, not everybody on the right is a total maniac, right? Not everybody. You can't say everybody on the right are bad people. They're just like Trump. No, you gotta step back and remember, like, some of these people, there are fair people that see what Trump's doing sometimes is wrong. They like some of the things that he promised, but that doesn't mean they like everything. Now, remember, Mr. Rogers, if you guys seen that documentary, Mr. Rogers was a Republican, and his wife thinks that he wouldn't agree with the stuff Trump agrees with, or has been doing. I don't want to get too political, though. I will say, though, I feel the show needs to represent the right side a little bit more. Not just the crazy people, but the extremists, I should say. That's what Sam Witwer's character seems to be. He seems to be the right extremist. I think the show needs to be careful with this, because this could, lose you a lot of viewers, and you don't want to lose viewers. You want to keep your viewers. So you have to represent that other side. And I know the show was kind of doing that in this episode. They were kind of saying, they even had a line that said, like, not everybody on that side is bad, but they don't represent it as much as they should be. Maybe have Alex or John Jones or someone be that right side to voice that side. Because when you're only voicing the left side, you're alienating some of your viewers. And for sure, you're going to have viewers that are on the right. So I'm just saying the show needs to be careful with what it's doing, because you don't want to insult anybody. You want to be equal for everybody, because if you're not equal, you're going to create a division. So be careful. That's all I'm going to say on that. Other than that, though, I really like the origin of Sam Witwer's character, because let's face it, there are people like that. They went pretty far for a Supergirl episode. There was that part where they killed that alien who was delivering things. Or it wasn't delivering, it was a security guard. So when they burned down the building, I thought it was a really good episode, and seeing how his hatred grew throughout the years, starting from the season finale of Supergirl season 1, I thought that was a nice little tie-in, and then tying it to season 2 as well, and season 3, we even got to see a little glimpse of Erika Durance as Lois, and Cat Grant made a little appearance, I believe, right? So I don't know if that was archive footage or not, but it was cool seeing Cat Grant back. I miss her, man. Back in season 1, I found her a little annoying at times, but sometimes she had some quirky, funny lines here and there. But for the most part, yeah, Cat Grant, you are missed. Moving on to Supergirl season 4. The episode was a really good episode, so I think I tied the knot on that. I just wanted to make sure. Moving on to Legends of Tomorrow, season 4, episode 2, Witch Hunt. The magical time, I'm not going to read that word, goes off. The team finds themselves headed into the Salem witch trials. Sarah notices Zari is taking the case personally when she promises to save a mom who is being accused of being a witch. However, the team quickly learns that there is a magical creature in the town creating problems they haven't been expecting. Meanwhile, Nate and Ava work together to try to keep their time brewer finding by proving to them that the magic exists. I did find it interesting that Nate's father knows about the time bearer, and that he had to prove to his father that magic exists. And voila, at the end we see Ray naked in Nate's arms. I thought that was funny. Legends of Tomorrow, man, I love they can be really funny sometimes. And this season they're pulling out all the stops. I loved the fairy godmother angle. Clearly a hit on Disney's fairy godmother from Cinderella. I even loved it when she tried to sing, and Ray's like enjoying the singing, and everybody else is like, please stop singing. They got a couple of bippity boppity boo references in there. And Constantine works so well with the team, just as he's already proven. Getting to see him on his first official mission with the Legends, I think was fantastic. Matt Ryan gels so well with this cast. It's so much fun. Zari's storyline, I really did like her storyline a lot, how she wanted to save this person from being burnt, from being a witch, despite the fact that this might alter time. Did she save her, or is her fate still to come? I don't think they really answered that. They kind of let her go at the end, but they kind of kept a mum on something. So I don't know. Maybe someone can clear that up for me in the comment section. Yeah, I really enjoyed this episode a lot. Legends, 2 episodes in, and I think it's been a lot of fun, but they balanced the dramatic stuff pretty well too. This could be the best season of Legends to date if they keep this up. I think it's great so far. We didn't get too much on Constantine's storyline from the demon from last week. He didn't tell anybody yet, but I did like how the scenes where Mick was getting annoyed with Constantine. I did find those really funny as well. Like, oh great, now we have this Brit here and he's pestering me because because Constantine can be an asshole sometimes, and he's being an asshole to Mick, and Mick is usually the regular asshole on the ship. So now we got two assholes. You're gonna have a confrontation. I want to see more with Mick and Constantine, because that relationship right now, I want to see that evolve into something amazing. So I really enjoyed the episode. Perfect. So moving on to Arrow Season 7, Episode 3, Crossing Lines. Still in prison, Oliver faces his biggest challenge yet. Meanwhile, Felicity gets an intriguing offer, and Diggle asks Curtis to go undercover for Argus. I'm going to admit this right now. I don't remember too much about Curtis in the episode, so I'm going to skip over that part. I did like Felicity, Renee, and Dinah working with the FBI agent, and you're starting to see this FBI agent get a little bit of... She's rethinking her position and the position of vigilantes. I wasn't expecting it, but I think I should have, because how else are you going to eventually get Oliver out of prison, right? And if you get an FBI agent who's on the vigilante's side now, you start moving the pieces, the puzzle pieces to that moment where I think that's what eventually it's going to come down to, for her to realize her mistake by putting Oliver in prison and realizing maybe vigilantes are not such a bad thing after all, because she's already starting to think that way. She was okay with what she did. She didn't feel guilt at all, and that's going to push the puzzles there. What I really loved about the episode was everything in the prison with Oliver Queen, trying to find out who this demon is and how he can meet this person. Obviously, he was forced into a fight with Cody Rhodes. I forgot his character's name, Stardust, whatever. But yeah, he had to fight him. I forgot the actor's name who plays the Juggernaut from The Last Stand, but he obviously Brick. Brick is the character's name. He was in seasons before, right? Since season 4, I think. And whenever he's on, he's great. I think I really liked him in this episode because he was very snarky. And you want to see the demon, you got to go through him first. And Michael Jai White was great in this episode also. He had some really nice little moments that I thought really made me look at his character a little differently. He wasn't just a bad guy in this episode. There was a little bit more dimension to him in this one, and I really appreciated that. I think Michael Jai White is an underrated actor, and the fact that they're using him to his full potential this season is really great. All the villains that they have in the prison with Oliver, I'm really glad they had them for these last couple of episodes. Obviously the biggest thing was the twist. Or it wasn't really a twist, but Oliver kills or stabs the security guard, which is now going to get him into level 2, hopefully to get to see the demon. But unfortunately, I think they said you have to go in the basement first before you can get to level 2. So it looks like there's a lot of ways you got to get to level 2. So we'll see what happens next week. I'm very excited to see where they're taking this and how long they're going to keep Oliver in prison. It would be interesting if they kept Oliver in prison for the rest of the season. For the rest of the season. From my understanding, what Arrow is trying to do, I heard this somewhere, that they're going to divide this season into 3 separate storylines, so that way maybe the storylines feel a lot more tighter. That would be a really smart thing. There was another show that tried doing that as well. I think it was Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. that was doing that, right? They were dividing their season into 3 separate storylines. So we'll see how that goes, because right now I do feel the tightness of this season, that the storyline does seem to be going, and I'm really enjoying that. I think I think all the DC TV shows right now, Legends, Arrow, Supergirl, and Flash, they seem to be stronger this season, and I'm enjoying that. So moving on to The Flash, the final show in my podcast, what we're going to talk about, Season 5, Episode 4, News Flash. Barry and Iris face the ultimate parenting test when Team Flash battles Spin, a savvy millennial armed with meta tech and a dangerous agenda for their daughter Nora. Ralph is feeling defeated until an unlikely source issues a challenge to help boost his confidence. Let me get into the Ralph stuff first. Ralph, I am loving Ralph this season. Last year, I was annoyed with Ralph. I'm like, Ralph, please shut up. And when they give him some funny moments, the jokes are actually funny this season. Where last season, I felt the jokes were falling really flat when it came to Ralph. I'm like, shut the hell up. You're like the Jar Jar Binks of The Flash. And this season, I'm really happy with what they're doing with Ralph. I think he is a funnier character. And I did like him and Sherlock Sherleek? I don't remember now. Sherlock Wells. I like them hanging out together. I think there's a cool little dynamic there. And how they were working together to find out more about Cicada. And that it was a little bit of Ralph's detective work that did help find the clue about the mask. So I did like that a lot. I do like seeing what they're doing with Ralph and Sherlock Wells this season. Barry and Iris, man. Okay, let me talk about this because I heard another podcast saying they didn't like the beginning, the whole breakfast thing where Iris was cooking breakfast and she didn't do a good job. I found that stuff funny. I don't know about you guys. Comment below, tell me what your thoughts were about the whole breakfast thing. I thought the breakfast thing was funny. It made me laugh out loud. Obviously, we learn why Nora has keeping a little distant to Iris. This is probably the negative aspect I had about this episode. Nora's blaming her because apparently Iris tried to keep Nora's powers a secret from her, and Nora's upset. What I don't like about that is that you can't blame Iris now for something she hasn't done yet. And I feel what Nora should be doing is trying to find out why her mother would do something like that instead of getting upset with her in this time and punishing her. I get it. They probably want to create a little bit of a rift there, drama. It just doesn't make sense to me when it should be a logical answer to that. And Barry's keeping calm and supportive. You know, he even stood up to Nora and said, "Hey, look, if your mother did this, she did this. She had her reasons for doing it." I do think it's going to tie into the disappearance of Barry. I think Iris in the future does know what happened to Barry and why he disappeared, and that she didn't want the same future Iris didn't want the same thing to happen to Nora, and that's why she tried to keep the powers away from Nora from finding out. I think that's what's going to tie into it at the end of the day. Someone was saying that Nora. Someone was telling me their theory on Nora because there was a little thing with a little fling going on, I guess, with Nora and the Spin, the metahuman, or the human with the meta tech, because that's what we learned at the end, that whatever Barry did. Barry and Nora did affected technology now. Now we don't just have meta-humans, we have meta-technology. And that's worrying the team because it's like, who else out there now has technology that can control metahumans. I mean, that is a scary thought if you think about it. Some people probably didn't even realize it yet, and they're figuring it out, and that's what we're going to see throughout the season. It's an interesting, different way of creating problems for the team. Instead of the typical meta-human of the week, now you're getting a human with a meta device of the week. It's different, so I'll give it that. I'm curious to see what it was going to... Oh, where I was going with Nora, though. So the person was telling me that they think Nora is not really the daughter of Barry and Iris. And I'm like, no, they are... She is the daughter of Barry and Iris. I don't know how you're getting... Just because there was a flirtation. Because she said, how come the other girl looked similar to her? I'm like, what are you talking about? Get out of here. So I don't believe that at all. I think Nora is the daughter of Barry and Iris. That suggestion seemed kind of stupid to me. But hey, there's no stupid answers, only stupid people. I shouldn't say that because maybe he'll watch this video and get pissed off at me. But with that being said, guys, look, this was a really great week of DC TV. I thought The Flash was really good. If I was still doing that ranking system, I don't even know how I would rank the shows this week. I think Black Lightning would be the bottom one for me right now, because I really am liking the other shows. The best show of the week, I don't know. They were all good. I can't pick one. I gave them all 8 out of 10s. So even Black Lightning got an 8 out of 10. It just was a weaker 8 out of 10. But yeah, this was a great week of DC TV. Marvel, we miss you. We hope to get you back soon, back in the game. I know Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. is coming back in the summer, so I can be doing this all summer long, too. This is going to be a lot of fun. So with that being said, guys, comment below and tell me what was your favorite episode this week that I read out. If you watch Black Lightning, the newer episodes on cable, go for it. Tell me what you thought of that episode this week as well. It will give me something to look forward to for this week coming up. Tell me your least favorite episode of the seasons. Tell me your theories, your suggestions. And hopefully I can start doing next week. If you guys give me theories and suggestions, I'll talk about it on the next episode. So of my podcast. So with that being said, I hope you guys like this video. Please subscribe to my channel, especially if you are a huge fan of superhero television, whether it's DC or Marvel, it doesn't matter to me, or anything else. If there's other superhero shows that are not related to Marvel or DC, talk about those ones as well. So with that being said, until next time, take care.